Let's jump into the second question here from Joseph Higgins. Joseph says, I switched jobs recently and trying to roll over an old 401k. From the time of request until I actually received the forms in the mail, my balance dropped 5%. Would you wait until the market rebounds, or does it not matter since I'll be rebuying at lower prices anyway? Matt, I mean, as I said at the top of the show, you're a certified financial planner, so you run across this type of thing, I think, often in your job. So what do you think about Joey's question there?
I do. And, well, I'll say 2 points about it. But the first one is to pay attention to the date that's on the forms you received. I'll tell you a quick story about a client of mine who called me in mid-February to tell me that he wanted to explore different options because he wasn't happy with his 401k's performance. And I asked him what he was looking at. And he said, well, I just got my year-end 2018 statement and it looks terrible. And we know what happened in the market at the end of 2018. And by the time he was actually reading his statement in mid-February, the market had gone back up by, 15%. So pay attention to the date on your statement. And it doesn't necessarily reflect your current balance. If you want your current balance, try to log in to your 401k's portal. And if you want to see how you're actually doing right now. The second thing I would say is that if you're going to reinvest immediately, let's say like you're going to roll it into your current employer's plan, don't worry too much about how much your balance went up or down, because you'll be immediately reinvesting. And if your current 401k dropped by 5%, the new 401k probably dropped by a similar amount.
Yeah.
And it's a wash. Now, if you're going to be doing some kind of delayed reinvestment, like you're rolling it into an IRA and then you're going to wait to see, figure out what stocks you want to buy, what funds you want to buy. If it's a delayed reinvestment, then it's a little bit of a different story. But the majority of 401k rollovers are, pretty immediate. You roll it over and you buy a few mutual funds pretty immediately, or if you roll it into your new employer's plan, it immediately gets reinvested. So unless you have some kind of unusual case where you're going to research and buy individual stocks, I wouldn't put too much emphasis into what your plan has done recently.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to offer just a quick personal experience of mine. I've had a couple of rollovers where I just rolled the retirement plan over into an IRA that I have, ultimately, what I did is I was just rolling that money into an IRA where I was then going to buy individual stocks. I mean, I basically was taking on my own sort of little portfolio management role there, and I was going to steer away from the funds and more towards the individual stocks. I didn't consider even for a second the timing of the matter, and honestly, the main reason is when you look at the overall length of time that I intend for this thing to be in action. For me, it really didn't matter when it boils down to a couple of days here or there, whether it's underperforming or overperforming, up or down for whatever given week or month. I mean, you could sit there and fight that battle all day, every day. And ultimately you have to pull the trigger. And so, he made the point, hey, listen, maybe you're going to be buying back in at some lower prices anyway. And I think that's a good way to look at it. But I think if you're looking at this generally and thinking about how long of a timeline you've got, which hopefully in this case we're talking about decades, I think that makes it a lot easier to go ahead and just pull the trigger, get that thing transferred over if you're going to be doing individual stocks. So either way, I think generally speaking, you have to do it at some point. So don't nitpick too terribly much on the day-to-day machinations of the stock market, because we know that pretty much never stops, especially in this environment. So, Joey, hope that's helpful. It's a good question, and certainly I don't think it's any one cut and dry answer there. But hopefully we've given you a couple of extra things to think about, ways to look at it.